Okay, so on this demo I'm going to show you guys how to do your cast shadows. The two colors you're going to get for your cast shadows, the main one is going to be Payne's Gray, which is kind of like a cool gray color, so it's got a little bit of a blue undertone to it, and then ultramarine blue, which I already have both of those colors in my palette. So you're going to use a combination of these to create your shadows, okay? What I've got here, bucket of water. There's been a few people I've noticed that don't have enough water in their buckets. I would say, no more than half of your bucket should be filled, but you do want a good amount of water in there because if you don't have a lot of water, it gets dirty fast, and then you have to just, go clean it out. So I just put the paints in here. So what I want to do, and this should be something you guys get in the habit of doing, is always just put, so I start with clean water, put a couple drops of water into that onto the pile of paint, just so that way it doesn't dry out on you. Now you don't want to put too much water on there and it get diluted too much, and then you just kind of wear out your color. So I'd say just enough to kind of cover the top of it, okay, and that should be fine. But that'll help. All right, so I'm going to kind of test stuff out on here. Now, the Payne's Gray, when you look at it, it does look black, but when you start painting with it, you'll see that it's got that kind of cool gray sort of color to it. So I'm going to start by creating a mixture here. My goal, after I'm finished with this demo, is to be able to show you guys 3 different values of shadow. So I want a light, a medium, and a dark. So I'm going to start with about, I think, 3 brushfuls of water. And then I'm going to start going in here. Whenever you mix paints together, you want to start with your lightest first. I'm going to grab a little bit of ultramarine. It's really hard to see with the watercolors, but I just grabbed a little bit. Mix that into my pile of water here, my well of water, I guess. And then I'm going to grab some of this Payne's Gray. Mix that in there. Got my sketchbook open to just a page that I've been doing a lot of kind of swatches. I just want to see what this looks like. So there's what that looks like. It looks pretty blue. Now, as far as your mixture goes, you have an option, and I'll show you guys 2 different examples. You can have the option of making your shadows really cool, like adding a lot of ultramarine blue to it, or if you want to, you can be heavier on the gray side. I have 2 really good examples of a finished project, one with more gray colored shadows and one with more blue colored shadows, so you can get an idea of what you might like. So I think I'm going to just add a little bit more of the Payne's Gray in here. Payne's Gray on its own, I think, sometimes is just too gray, just not enough color in it. So that's why I always like to mix it with the ultramarine blue. So, okay. Now, I don't know if that's going to be my lightest value for my shadows, but I'm going to just kind of leave that as is, and I'm going to start another pile. I'm going to start again, same thing. Kind of get some water just in this well. Just use my brush to kind of transport it. I'm going to start it off the same way, but this time I'm going to try to grab a little bit more paint. I'm going to kind of grab this a couple times and grab some of the the Payne's Gray. So my objective here is to go darker. I need more paint. Now, to get your watercolors to appear darker and more saturated, you need more paint in your mixture than with the water. So, oh, there we go. Okay. All right, that might be my medium. And now I'm going to try to make up my darkest. So for my darkest, I'm going to add less water in this. So I don't want as much water to start with. And I'm going to start again with the ultramarine blue. Again, I want to be a little heavier on the color, and then I'm going to go in with the Payne's Gray. And I want to go a little bit heavier on the color, on the paint. Let's see. Ooh, oh, there we go. Look at that. Yes. So now I have kind of a light, a medium, and a dark, okay? And what I'm going to do, now that I've kind of made these, so this is my light, my medium, and my dark, I'm going to switch my page here. And I'm going to put these swatches on a new piece of paper so you guys can see them, so you can see the difference. So I'm just going to kind of lay down, this is going to be my light. This is going to be my medium. Okay, and then this is going to be my dark. Oh, I think I need to make it darker. Oh, I see it on there. Do that again. Oh, that's much better. There you go. Okay. So, which one do you think you need to start with first when you start painting with your shadows? Huh? The lightest one. So what I would do is I take that light wash that I made for my shadows, and I would start painting that wherever I see a shadow, whether it's light, medium, or dark. I know that it needs to be at least that, so I'd use that wash right there to basically map out where I need to put all of my shadows. And then after that dries, then I'll go in, okay, where do I need to make things darker? Now I'm going to go with my medium shadow, and I'm going to go and plug that in wherever it needs to be. Let it dry. Then I'm going to go back through and put my dark wherever it needs to be. Now, I'll be very honest with you guys, I probably will need eventually something even darker than this, but this is a start. It gets me started, okay? Now, one of the tricks, and I kind of went over this on one of the videos that you've already watched, is when you paint this on, the thing you need to make sure that you do, and this is where people have noticed things have kind of gone bad, is that if you, when you're painting your shadow on top of your painting, whatever you do, lay it down, okay? Lay it down, and then let it go. Do not sit there and pet it, okay? Over and over again like this. What do you think is going to happen if you do that? Yeah, you're gonna probably ball up the paper. You could ruin the paper. You're going to see everything kind of blob together. When you're working on top of your fabric, you're going to notice that you'll lose your stripes too. Okay, so again, the trick of this is, once you figure out where those shadows need to go, paint it down, and then move on. Let it go. Okay? Let it dry. Do not pet it. Do not pet it. Alright? So, I will leave this so that you guys can see this, okay? So make a light, a medium, and a dark, and then you're going to start with the light. There you go.